so I can share the recording with everyone who couldn't make it, because I know we had more people who signed up to watch this, and we'll start. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to me and to join this webinar. It's my first time doing a webinar, so please be kind with your responses, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you put in the group chat, and I will also unmute everyone afterwards. We can have a conversation, make it a little bit more interactive. Before I jump in, we have a few more people coming in. Before I jump in and talk about the trips for women that we put together, I think it would make sense for me to introduce myself and to talk a little bit about who I am and what I do, because as you all know, in our industry, in travel, it's all about relationships and connections, and we are not huge Expedias of the world, so people don't come to our websites and buy from our websites. People come to us because they know us, because they like us, and they eventually trust us, and they buy from us, from people. So I would love to, if nothing less, come away from this presentation with you knowing a little bit more about me, maybe piquing your curiosity about who I am, what I do, and would love to continue conversation with any of you after this call about how we can work together and how we can help each other grow our businesses. So before Okay, perfect. I just wanted to, I have multiple screens and all these things jumping at me, so I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. So I'm Anna Fishman. I'm an owner and founder of Olegana Travel Boutique, and that's me in Greece. I have been born and raised in Ukraine and Europe, so I feel like when I come to Europe, I come home. I feel like I understand Europe, and eventually, once I started my business almost 10 years ago, um, when I started, I didn't know what I wanted to do in travel. I just knew that I wanted to do travel because I had a job in corporate for over a decade before that, and I never felt at home in any of my marketing or advertising or compliance jobs. And when I started trying to figure out what else is out there in the world for me except for the gray cubicle that I sit in, travel was the only thing on my mind. Travel was the only thing that I cared about. Travel was the only thing that I was curious about and wanted to learn more about. So I took all of my 10 plus years in corporate experience, my MBA, my business degree in undergrad, and I kind of made a huge bet on myself to start my own business because no one in my family is a business owner, and I had no idea what I was doing. I knew business as a thing in corporate, and I knew travel as a traveler, but I didn't know travel business. And as trivial and as cliche as it may sound, my first baby, my son, my oldest son, kind of was the catalyst in this transition because I had him, and it was a very turbulent period of my time. I had a stressful delivery. We spent 3 days in NICU. And when you go through something so stressful, near-death experience, your whole life kind of flashes in front of you, and you realize that there has to be something more to it than what you have so far if you're not happy, and it's time to make a change. So that's when after I went back to work to my corporate job, and after I cried every Sunday night that I have to go back to work, and I spent 4 hours commuting. I live in New Jersey, and I commuted to Manhattan, 2 hours each way, and I would come home, and my baby was sleeping, and I would leave in the morning, and my baby is sleeping. I would ask my husband, does he even know who I am? Like, I spend 4 hours on the train every day. I don't spend any time with him. I would sit in his dark bedroom, hold his warm little body while he was sleeping, just so I have some bonding time. And I would cry every night. And one of those nights when my husband was like, what's wrong? And I couldn't explain what was wrong because the baby was healthy. I was healthy. I had a high-paying job. We had a new house. I had an amazing husband. I could not explain what was wrong, but I was miserable. And that's when I had that first conversation with myself. And I realized that I'm not happy in my job and I need to do something about it. So the next morning on my 2 hour commute to work, I opened Google and I said, hey, Google, how do you start a travel business? Because everything in my life has been travel. I travel to celebrate, I travel to forgive, I travel to forget, I travel to grieve, I travel to enjoy and learn and grow, and everything in my life has been around travel. And like I mentioned, I grew up in Europe, so I understand Europe. And my first year and a half in business, when I was trying to do everything, like probably a lot of us have, from Disney to cruises to resorts to Europe to Hawaii. I kept being pulled to European itineraries and European destinations. And a year and a half after living on adrenaline and 4 hours of sleep and trying to build a business from scratch while still having a really demanding corporate job and a new baby. I, of course, burned out. I'm not a superhuman. I wish I was sometimes. And I decided that I'm going to make this huge bet on myself and leave the corporate world and go fully into the business. So it's going to be 10 years this October or November that we went into the business. And during COVID, I was pregnant with my second son, which was a second catalyst of the second part of my business, where I was probably again very hormonal. And during COVID, crying on the couch to my best friend on the phone that we'll never travel again. I'll never leave the house without a diaper bag. And how did we get ourselves here? Um, I came up with an idea to start women's only travel where I do get a chance to leave the house without my kids and my husband that I love dearly, but I need a break from them once in a while. And I figured if I need a break from my kids and my husband and my job and everything, I'm sure there are other women who need a break too. So we came up with this idea of starting small group trips for women. And again, I thought it was a crazy idea that would not take off, but it very much took off because there's so many women out there who are looking for connection, who are looking for the break, who are giving themselves permission to start again, to put themselves first, and to do things that make them feel alive again. So this is a little bit of my story. Let me jump to the next slide. We are now doing 5 to 7 and even more next year small group trips for women. We take groups of women who are aged 40 and plus. It just naturally we fell into that category. If somebody is under 40 and want to join us, that's not a problem, but I think we attract more mature audience. We started a Facebook group a couple of years ago, and I thought, I'll start a Facebook group, and maybe if I have 500 women from US, all over the US and Canada, who join me once in a while on the group trip, it will be a success. We are over 200,000 women all over the world, not only US and Canada. And I've realized how, as women, we're starved for connection, how we are starved for that me time, how we're always putting ourselves last to everything else, to our businesses, to our jobs, to our parents, to our kids, to all the other things that we're supposed to do in life. And we always put ourselves last to that. So when women come to a realization that it's time to put themselves first, they look for other like-minded women to do those things with. And a lot of our women, this is a picture of one of our small group trips from 2 years ago now. A lot of these women, 90% of these women don't know each other when they come. They come because they're ready. They're ready to explore. They want to put themselves first. They've done everything right with their life. They raise their children and build their businesses and had careers and build families, and now they want to put themselves first. Now they want to give themselves permission to enjoy their life. And a lot of times they don't have anyone to do it with. Maybe they just lost a partner. Maybe they just went through cancer treatment. Maybe their friends are in different stage of their lives, and maybe they can't afford a luxury trip that these women are looking to do. So they come to us, they come to our Facebook group, they get to know some of us, they get to know a lot of people in the group, and then they join one of our small group trips where I say we come as strangers, but by the end of 7 days, 8 days that we're there together, we'll leave as very close friends, if not family. Um, Let me jump to the next. So this is the Facebook group that I mentioned. I will happily send anyone a link to join our group to see what we're doing there and the amazing conversations that women are having. I mentioned giving yourself permission. So I've been using that term a lot lately. How women need to give themselves permission to do the things they want, to put themselves first. And I inspired, I guess, myself to start a podcast where I interview and have conversations, deep conversations with amazing women who are not only in travel, some of them are in travel, a lot of them are actually from completely different industries. But this is more of my way of giving back to the community of women in the world to give themselves permission to do the things that they've never given themselves permission to do before. And we touch on some very important topics. We talk about divorce and cancer and changing careers and having kids and moving and aging gracefully. And we're doing all these amazing, amazing things and kind of having amazing conversations when we're recording these podcasts. So if you feel that you can contribute something to the community of women in the world and you can talk about sending you on permission slip on whatever topic that may be, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be more than happy to chat with you and see if we can have you as a guest on our podcast. I need a sip of water because I'm nervous. So that was a little bit about me, this Facebook group that we run. We are a small team of 5 people. So we do a lot of work behind the scenes that is not visible, obviously. We have people who take our groups to destinations. We have people who run the Facebook group. We have people who do all our marketing and podcasting and emails. And we put a lot of heart and soul into everything that we do. But more heart and soul comes from our travelers. This is another group that we took to Italy. Uh, and I just want to talk a little bit more about the actual trips that we put together and how we can partner with you. So every trip that we put together, it's a small group trip for women only. As I mentioned, 40 plus, but we are welcome to chat with anyone who's under 40 to join us and make sure it's a good fit. I always say to clients, we choose you as much as you choose us. We want to make sure that there is good energy, that there is good attitude, that there is good synergy between the women that come. And I love this picture. This was our group last October in southern Italy, Puglia, where these women had probably the best chemistry and energy that out of all of our groups. They just came as complete strangers. No one knew each other, and they bonded so well. They made such great friends, and the laughs and the stories and the heartwarming conversations that we've had at dinners was just absolutely incredible. We created a WhatsApp chat for every group so people can stay in touch during the trip and after. And for it's been at this point 6 months since the trip took place. The chat is still blowing up. Every day there are at least a few messages. People are sending happy birthdays and happy holidays and sharing pictures of their grandkids and sharing the recipes and the pictures of the things that they made at home after they've learned how to make them in Italy. It's just the feeling, the vibe, the whole experience leaves our clients so enchanted, not only with the destination, which is so easy to fall in love with, like Italy and Spain, but also with their community of women and also with an opportunity to step out of the comfort zone and make new friends and do new things. So our group trips, like we're mentioning here, we're for 40 women 40 plus, we are luxury travel company. So we have premium accommodations, 4 and 5 star hotels. Sometimes we're staying in a hotel that's, for example, like in Italy, it's a masseria. It doesn't have maybe stars officially, but we know that they will receive at least a 4 star treatment. We have top culinary experiences. We cook with famous chefs and we eat a lot on our trips. It's definitely foodie experiences. We try to give our ladies a very authentic local flavor. Sorry, someone is knocking to come in. Um, we we give them ungoogleable experiences. We go into homes of private people. We've had lunches in private homes in Bari with families who don't even speak Italian, not only don't speak English, they speak the local Barese um, dialect in Bari in Italy, and we know a family, like we're connected from one family to another who were able to put us in touch with this family who hosted us for lunch. Or we go to an artist's home who shows us his own private collection of artifacts that he discovered under his home when he was building, and shows us his own private studio where he makes his own pieces of art. So things that you cannot find on Google, things that are not on Viator, things that are not on TripAdvisor, because these are private people. They're just part of that local community and we have access to them. And women absolutely love having those experiences with local people to understand the culture of the region they're visiting and to really experience it wholeheartedly versus just jumping from a museum to a museum, from a tourist trap to a tourist trap. I'm not sure what's going on with these green lines, how they happened there, but maybe I pressed on the on the pencil or something like that. Sorry about that. Um, I wanted to stress how seriously we take our business, how great we are at what we do, and I am shamelessly saying that because I know how close I take to heart all my clients and hard I work on making sure that they have a great experience. And when I refer someone to someone else, I want to make sure that my clients have that amazing experience with a different vendor or a different agent. So you never have to worry that you will send someone to us and they'll have a bad experience. If you go and Google Olegana Travel Boutique and just look at any of our social media, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Yelp, the Knot, you name it, we have an absolutely stellar reputation. We have over 100 5-star reviews. People rave about the experiences we give them. And when their experience comes a little bit short of expectation, we always go above and beyond to make sure to remedy that. So you never have to worry about the quality of the experience you will get when sending your clients to us. This is more testimonials. And now I want to talk about the actual trips too that we are promoting, and we're hoping to partner with you to promote. Probably thinking like, what's in it for me? That's all great, but what's in it for me? So what's in it for you is I don't know a lot of you on this call, so I don't know if you're selling Italy or if you're selling group trips or if you're talking to women. But if you think you might have women who are 40 plus who are looking to do a solo travel trip or maybe a trip with a friend, a mom, a daughter, but they don't know where to begin, they don't want to do a custom trip, they want to join a group, then absolutely let's chat and see if our trips are a good fit for them. We are not even asking you to sell our trips for us. We will do all the work. We're just asking for an introduction. So if Andrea has a friend Mary and Mary wants to go on a trip and she doesn't want to go alone and she would like to join a small group, Andrea sends an email to me and says, "Hey, Anna, I have a friend Mary or a client Mary. She's interested in traveling. She doesn't know where, when, how." Have a conversation with her. That's it. That's Andrea's involvement in this process. I earmark that Mary came from Andrea, and if Mary ends up booking one of our small group trips or even a custom trip, we have to figure out the commission on the custom trips. But for the small group trips, and we're focusing on our Puglia, Italy trips, we will give you 10% commission on all of our sales. And our trips start at $69.95, so $6,995 per person on double occupancy basis and $79.95 on single occupancy basis. So you can easily earn $600 to $700 just from making an introduction over email. And we take over the process where we set up a phone call with the potential lead. We tell them all about our trips. They tell us all about their experience and what they're looking for. And we then decide if we both collectively decide if that's a good fit. And then they put down the deposit, and that's when we can send you your commission. A little bit about the trip itself. So we are going to the southern Italy, Puglia, which is the heel of the Italian boot. Our trips try to focus on a little bit of the beaten path destinations. We are not taking you to London, Paris, and Madrid. You can probably do that on your own, but we're trying to go somewhere a little bit more of the beaten path, a little bit more local, and to give you the best of the region. So Puglia is known for their focaccia and for their mozzarella and burrata and for their primitivo wine and famous these truly houses. So we are taking people to do all these things from culture to architecture to food and wine. We try to give a piece of different a slice of a culture from different angles. So we do cooking classes and we have boat tours and we do bread making and we eat at a local butcher shop and we sing Volare in front of the famous statue in Polignano Amare and we dance with the folk dancers. So then once our ladies come home from this trip, they can really say that they've tried and they've experienced all the amazing things that the region has to offer. And of course, we offer pre and post customization if they want to stay a little bit longer or before, after in the destination, we can arrange for that as well. And I think that covers it all. I'm happy to answer any questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself and jump in and ask questions. But this is my contact information. This is my email. I think I pressed on something pencil, and that's why it keeps doing this, the green lines. This is my phone number, this is my email, and our website where you can find more information about us. And thank you so much for taking the time to spend this afternoon. I'm just looking through the chat. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to jump in and ask. I know a lot of you are on mute. If you want to unmute and ask a question, feel free to do that as well. Okay, don't see any questions. Okay, Geisha has a question. Do you generate quotes for small group travel? Geisha, I'm not sure what you mean by generate quotes. If you could elaborate, I would appreciate that. We have set pricing and set dates. So if I go, let me see if I can go back here.
Oh, hi, Anna. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Sorry,
you.
I was on a call.
No worries.
Basically what I'm asking is if I came into the meeting a little bit late, so I apologize if you
No worries.
probably already spoke about this. So if I have a small group of my clients that are interested, when I say small, maybe 6 to 10 people that are interested, can they jump in one of your groups, or can you generate a quote for that specific group, or will they be joining a group, or will they have their own individual?
We can do it both ways. The easiest
Okay.
thing would be for them to jump in one of our groups because we already
Okay.
have rooms allocated, we have the guides allocated, the tour lead that always comes. I forgot to mention that um, when we start a new destination, I usually go once or twice with the group, and then I put a tour lead instead of me because as much as I love to travel, I just can't be on all of them. So there always is a tour host, tour lead with the group the entire time. So if it's for example, if we have 6 rooms available and you have 6 women who it works for them to join one of our group trips, amazing. Let's talk about that. Let's put them in there. If they look at the schedules and the dates don't work for them and they want something on a custom basis, we can create a custom tour for them as well.
Understood. And is this being recorded?
This is being recorded, yep, and we'll send recording to everyone as long as
Perfect.
technology doesn't doesn't fall.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Okay, so I think I don't see any other questions. You guys have my contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out if you want to continue conversation, if you have more questions, if you want to hop on Zoom and just chat, and maybe you were inspired to be on our podcast or do something else. Absolutely, don't hesitate. We'll send the recording to everyone, and thank you again for taking the time to jump on this chat with us today.
I got a really quick question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
No,
trying to
no.
multitask over here. What was the price, the total prices, and is this the same for 2026 as well for the group?
So we are still finalizing the prices for 2026. We just have the dates. But you can totally grab all the information that's available on our website. Let me just give you have all these things open here, so it's a little bit difficult for me. I will. So the for 2025, the both trips that we have start at 69.95. I'm going to put the link in the chat. 69.95 and single occupancy is 79.95. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And if you have anything, any specific question about specific pricing or anything, just don't hesitate. Just shoot me a note and I'll be happy to go into more details. All right. Thank you everyone for joining again, and we'll be in touch.